Yunnan Province, a region renowned for its rugged mountains and diverse landscapes, is currently facing the severe aftermath of heavy flooding that occurred across multiple counties from September 10 to 12. The main cause was prolonged, continuous rainfall, which led to flash floods causing significant damage to infrastructure, agriculture, and residents' livelihoods in many areas of the province. The hardest-hit counties include Zhong, Wenshan, Kuing, and Pu'er. Regional meteorological data show that rainfall in many parts of Yunnan has far exceeded historical seasonal averages. The prolonged rain caused riverbanks and drainage systems in both urban and rural areas to become overwhelmed, turning normally gentle streams into dangerous torrents. The flash floods swept through villages, washing away homes, vehicles, and agricultural machinery, leaving deep scars on the land. In the city of Zhaong, one of the most severely affected areas, heavy rainfall triggered landslides that blocked many key roads, isolating remote communities and delaying emergency rescue operations. Local officials reported that dozens of road sections were flooded or damaged, including provincial roads connecting small towns to major trade corridors. In the town of Ludian, low-lying areas were inundated within minutes as nighttime water levels rose rapidly, forcing thousands of residents to evacuate to higher ground. In the south, Wenshan Province faced similar devastation. Thousands of hectares of farmland were submerged under muddy floodwaters, destroying rice paddies, greenhouses, and vegetable gardens just weeks before harvest. Farmers in Yansan and Funing could only helplessly watch as rising waters swept away crops and livestock. Years of hard work and livelihoods were wiped out in a matter of hours. In the city of Pu'er, near the border with Laos, rivers flowing through mountainous valleys overflowed, causing multiple rounds of flash floods. Many bridges were damaged or completely washed away, cutting off access to villages. Rescue teams had to work through the night to erect temporary bridges and deliver food and supplies on foot and via drones. The Provincial Water Resources Department issued multiple red alerts in the Por and Zhishuang Bana areas, warning of continued flood risks as upstream water levels remain dangerously high. Meanwhile, in Kuing, a city known for its dense population and hilly terrain, the urban drainage system could not cope with the rainfall. Streets quickly turned into rivers, with water levels in some areas reaching chest height. Vehicles were swept away or trapped against barriers, and public transport was suspended in most areas. Many ground-floor residences were fully flooded, necessitating large-scale evacuations using inflatable rescue boats. Power supplies were also disrupted in many areas. As of September 13th, electrical grids in Zhaong and Wenshan were undergoing emergency repairs, with some substations submerged. Telecommunications infrastructure was temporarily cut off in mountainous regions, complicating coordination between authorities and rescue teams. However, mobile networks were partially restored thanks to temporary cell towers. Rescue and relief operations are ongoing. More than 10,000 people have been evacuated from hazardous areas. Temporary shelters have been set up in schools, community centers, and government buildings, with food, drinking water, and basic medical supplies distributed by the Red Cross and local disaster management agencies. The military and volunteers have been working together to clear debris, reopen blocked roads, and reinforce riverbanks with sandbags and barriers. Environmental experts warn that the situation could worsen if rain continues. With saturated soil, the risk of landslides and flash floods remains high, and satellite data show that many slopes in northeastern Yunnan are unstable, particularly areas that experienced earthquakes in recent years. The Yunnan provincial government has issued a Level 2 emergency response, the second highest in China's flood control system. Authorities are urging residents in high-risk areas to remain vigilant, limit travel unless necessary, and comply with evacuation orders. As Yunnan confronts the aftermath of this disaster, the true scale of the damage is still being assessed. Initial reports indicate widespread destruction of homes, schools, roads, and farmland. With recovery likely to take several months, it is clear that communities in the province will heavily rely on support from both local and central authorities in the challenging weeks ahead. Beijing, the political and cultural heart of China, is no stranger to sudden weather shifts. Yet the hailstorm that swept across the capital left millions of residents stunned and unprepared. The dim sky quickly darkened, strong winds rose, and within only a few short minutes, bustling streets, ancient hutongs, and wide ring roads were all engulfed by a fierce downpour of hail. Small and large hailstones pelted the city, from tiny pellets the size of peas to chunks as big as ping-pong balls. They struck bus shelters, balcony rails, and turned familiar streets into slippery white ribbons, as if winter had suddenly returned. The sound echoed everywhere, metallic rattles on rooftops, sharp knocks against windows, then heavy thuds as larger stones hit awnings and parked cars. Strong gusts of wind reduced visibility as smaller hail was swept into swirling sheets of white. Transportation was the first to suffer. Hazard lights flashed across ring roads as drivers slowed down to keep traction on slick surfaces. Bus routes stretched their headways, pausing safely at major stops. The metro system continued to operate, but several entrances and open plazas were briefly closed while crews shoveled ice and cleared pooling water. At the airport, ground teams urgently inspected runways and suspended departures during the heaviest waves of hail. On the urban fringe and in nearby farming zones, losses were visible. Orchards shed leaves and young fruit. Protective nets tore apart. Plastic greenhouses were punctured, letting in cold air that flattened seedlings. Just a few minutes of hail had wiped out months of careful labor for local farmers. Emergency services responded immediately. Dispatch centers fielded a surge of calls reporting collapsed awnings, shattered windows, and power cuts where fallen branches damaged lines. Fire crews deployed portable pumps to drain flooded basements and protect electrical rooms. Sanitation workers rushed to clear ice from priority roads to keep ambulance response times stable. Meteorologists explained the familiar setup: moist surface air lifted by atmospheric disturbance, strong wind shear helping to form storm cells, and freezing levels low enough to preserve hailstones on descent. Inside towering cumulonimbus clouds, embryonic hail was recirculated through supercooled droplets, layering repeatedly until gravity prevailed. The result was a patchwork of heavy strikes in some areas and lighter impacts in others. Hospitals and clinics prepared for an uptick in patients. Most injuries were minor: cuts from broken glass, slips on wet stairs, and bruises from wind-driven hail. Health officials advised residents to avoid wading through pooled water that might conceal debris, and urged families to check on elderly neighbors.
呢啲生意唔係咁做㗎，平啊！有時候啲嘢係冇大家咁熟係冇。你阿媽喺呢啲生意係咁做㗎，唔係幾百蚊嘅問題。你要我幾百蚊，我俾你冇所謂係冇。你阿媽喺。
Schools and universities quickly activated emergency protocols. Outdoor activities were postponed or moved indoors. Custodians cleared drains and inspected roofs for damage that could allow leaks long after surfaces appeared dry. In older neighborhoods, volunteers distributed plastic sheeting to cover broken skylights and windows until repairs could be arranged. As skies gradually cleared, recovery efforts began. Insurance adjusters documented dented cars, cracked roof tiles, and solar panels marked by microfractures. Auto shops were flooded with bookings for dent repair and glass replacement. Shop owners reported losses from leaks in storerooms and were advised to take photos and keep receipts for quicker claims processing. The storm also reignited conversations about the city's resilience. Experts are considering higher drainage standards that account not only for heavy rain, but also for ice blockages. Building committees are studying stronger impact ratings for skylights, rooftops, and external equipment. Transport authorities are testing dynamic speed regulations to apply when hail reduces traction on ramps and elevated roads. For many families, the memory remains vivid: the pounding on windows, the sudden chill in the air, and the sight of alleys glittering white beneath street lamps. Yet the city's rhythm quickly returned. Neighbors lent brooms and shovels. Drivers gave rides to stranded commuters. Shopkeepers swept away slush to prevent falls. By the time the last storm cells had faded, major roads were open again, and life moved forward. With its scale and sophistication, Beijing showed once more its ability to absorb sudden shocks, but the hailstorm also revealed that even well-prepared cities remain vulnerable to fast-forming extremes. Continued investment in forecasting, resilient infrastructure, and community preparedness will help reduce risks, shorten recovery time, and better protect the millions of people who keep the capital alive. Thank you for following this report. Please stay safe, stay connected, and join us again for future updates.
Thank you for watching. If you found this report helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay safe until our next update.
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare, because awareness isn't fear, it's power.